Welcome to Refuel with Reverend Johnson and Reverend Rob. What's up? Hey, everybody. It's so good that you all are joining us on Friday at 7 p.m. Whoa!
We're back.
We're back. It's so good to be back with you all. Good evening, good evening, good evening.
Hello. That's right.
I guess we went on and cut that real quick, huh? What's going on, Johnson?
Clearly, that video isn't working well.
It wasn't working well at all. How about that? Did you just go down a little bit?
I did it because you're sitting on the floor.
I'm not sure about that. No, I'm not sitting
at the bottom of the desk now.
No, and you know what I noticed? We're on the two different sides. I'm usually that side, right? What's going on? How are you doing?
Very well, thank you, kind sir. How are you?
Oh, how about that? Did you just go down? We have technical difficulties. I mean, I don't
have technical difficulties.
I know.
When you start playing the show on the same screen, don't we tell our guests not to do that?
Wait a minute, player. I usually have it already set up while we're doing our intro. Because we didn't get the full intro, I didn't get an opportunity to set my screens up. I'm gonna join this brother for the rest of the weekend because he always come for me, and boom, he moves to his mama house. The next thing in the talks about her internet fine. I don't think your mama internet is fine, bro.
Shots fired.
I'll tell you that internet thing. You better get your internet together. You come online on Refuel, you got to have your internet up to par. Check
that is true because we
will talk about your internet service
and then we'll take snapshots of you like this.
Listen. At the week I've had, listen, I'm good. What's going on with you, sis? I miss you.
I miss you too. I posted a memory on Instagram today of you and I.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I'm good. Just another day. COVID numbers still rising. Cities shutting down.
I heard. Again, I don't know if this is true, but and we'll talk about it a little later. But excuse me, I heard y'all reverted back to a phase. Is that true?
Yeah, we are now. Maryland is now back at, I think, phase 1.
Wow.
Yeah.
Phase 1, as in non-essential people are off.
So I don't know, right? So I can only speak for my company that we are now we're requiring essential folks to be back in the office. But I think that's what it means. Yeah, I haven't seen any curfews or anything. Like some cities and states have curfews. I haven't seen any curfews, but yeah, the same message. If you don't need to go out, stay home. So my brush spreads my hair out. So
I was wondering when you were doing that.
Yes. So
erased head.
Yeah, I like it more.
It's like pushed up, right?
Yeah, pushed up to the kind of spiky mohawk rather than the wild.
Yeah, like the carrot head guy, right? Well, no, I guess it's carrot head.
So
but it looks good. I actually like it. Is it fresh?
Thank you. You know what? This is 3D Styles a week old.
Oh, so okay.
I will be.
Are you going to frequent the establishment more because your wife?
So everybody knows my wife, and we know Ifa Dio. Lady Joy is not about this pandemic life, and so my barber, who has been my barber for I guess 15 years, makes things happen for me. So we're figuring it all out, but it won't be back in April where I had the Frederick Douglass going on. We're not going to do that. We're not going back there. So
that's what's going on. That's what's up.
So Joy is texting me right now.
Okay, so do I want to hear this or do I not? Because no telling what that Slim is talking about.
So no, she just, so I guess I've been in the office today, so I haven't seen the news.
Correct.
We have it scheduled to talk about any elections updates, so we can wait to go there. But
Cool.
just making sure I got my facts straight as we're on Refuel. We have our own fact checkers going on, making sure we're not giving you all just what we think. Yeah, talk about my girl.
We got an update from CNN, so we'll talk about that. I see you, Marlene. Thank you so much. State employees told to telework and private companies urged to do the same. Stay well. So
That's
listen,
right.
out there in the Maryland area, please stay safe. Obviously, I'm in Alabama, and I don't watch Alabama news because I rig my TV to only see Baltimore stations, so I can continue to see the Philadelphia Eagles matches. But now I feel like I need the CNN.com and MNBC are paying attention to. So they're so focused on the election to where we don't get a chance to see anything. Yep, I got you, Ashton.
Perfect.
Yep. Joy, yep, Newark, New Jersey, 8 p.m. curfew. Oh, wow. Check that out.
Yeah, so where you're watching us from, let us know what's going on in your town, in your state. That'd be great. Hey, Loretta. Hey, Marlene. Hey, Latoy. Good to see you.
Good to see you, fam.
Or see your chat. I can't see your face.
Let's so while we're on the whole election thing, what do you think about that? Like, what do you think about those numbers that came in? Ashley, can you put that up for us, bro? That the election screen.
Yeah. So I think it's amazing, right? Biden is at 306. He's flipped Georgia, and they're done with the hand count. And so he flipped ATL for the first time in many years, and he flipped Georgia for the first time since 1992.
That's right.
And so Georgia, this is projections, right? Nothing certified until the electoral colleges meet, but this is it.
Yeah. I'm very proud of those states that are definitely making a change and flipping. 306 to the 232. Can I say that? Can I just tell you that?
Yeah, 306 to
Hey, did you hear anything about the million mega march today that happened in DC?
So just that it was happening. I didn't know when it was. I actually thought it was happening tomorrow. It's tomorrow. That's what I thought.
Tomorrow. You're right. No, it says forming on no, it says the 13th. Let me see if this is from the Washingtonian.com. And it says that people are flying into DC for the Million Mega March and naturally posting airplane selfies and things like that. They're gathering. They got all kind of stuff out there. So they're arriving. So maybe it is tomorrow. They're just arriving today.
They're arriving today.
Yes. So listen to my DMV family out there. Like, we're praying for you, as well as, we just hope that people don't get hurt from both sides. If anything break out, just be mindful and be aware and do your normal self-awareness in terms of where you are.
Yeah. So thank you so much. Yes, Joy. Now we must get rid of the Electoral College. Again, people, we need, this is just because there's a Democratic president-elect. We must not get tired. We must continue to, fight for the change that we want. Bishop Holland. Okay. So you're saying North Carolina is in phase 3 until
December.
Good to know. Good to know.
Yeah, hey, Bishop, you got a birthday coming up. You got a birthday coming up. Yay!
She does. Oh my goodness, Sagittarius season. Oh God, help me. Sean, Rolanda, Loretta, Joy, Bishop.
Hey, it's all good. You're surrounded by amazing people.
Yes, we're gonna go with that one. I love you all.
Let's talk about
Willie. That's right.
Yeah, Willie also. Thank you, Pastor. Let's talk about what's going on around the movement. I know Elder McCrae is having a jazz show for $7, and it's, I don't know the day. Oh, I'm sorry, November 14th at 7 p.m. So I'm assuming that it's going to be. You can buy the tickets at www.andymuskilive.com. That's ANDIESMUSIKLIV.com. We'll post that on our page to make sure everyone is aware. So Reverend Pindamon pastoral anniversary is December 13th. I want everybody to check that out if you can. Johnson, you have any?
So yes, we won't be able to get it posted here, but many of us are tagged in it, and it's on the Unity Fellowship Church Movement social page. This month is the Unity Fellowship New York is reflecting the Trans Awareness Month, and so every week they've had these panels that have been absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
I actually caught the one last week. Our own brother Ashton Peterson was featured on it, and so this upcoming week they have brother Reginald. And so if many of you have been to any convocation, he always has a camera in his hand.
Always. Love him,
he will be leading the panel on gender non-binary, two-spirited. So check it out. It's on, check out their page. They'll be streaming it from their page. We'll also get the flyer posted to Unity Baltimore's page. All right.
Yes, check it out. Check it out. Also, all the way in our sister church in Vegas, our fellowship, they're having a Transgiving community dinner November 21st from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the center, which is the LGBT center, and Thanksgiving community, so the center. And then there's a Thanksgiving community dinner, which is November the 26th at 9 a.m. to noon at Abundant Peace Church. So, for all those that are checking us out from Vegas, if you want a space to be able to go to and be around and share, I would invite you to go consider that. So that's what's going on around our movement. Our people are doing some great work.
Hold on. Pastor Pendermon's anniversary is December 6th, and our very own senior pastor, the Reverend Dr. Elder Jamie Washington, will be preaching. So you all know Baltimore will be in the house. You don't want to miss this. I am very biased about my pastor, and so make sure that we'll make sure that that's posted here and we get it in our timer. You all won't miss that.
Absolutely. So that's interesting. I'm excited to see that.
Hi, Trinice. Hey, Deacon Lynn. Hey, Mother Gloria.
Hey, Mom, what's going on? Hey, I bought a bar.
Oh, goodness.
No,
Congratulations. Is it the Globe?
No, it's huge. I bought a real bar. So I'm trying to create a speakeasy. I know you're too young to even know what that is, but I am trying to create a space in my home where I can guide people to without having to enjoy the rest of the home, if that makes any sense. So,
okay.
So I want to create a speakeasy environment, and I actually bought a bar. It is amazing. I'll put out a picture. A little later on, I'll send it to Ashton. Yes, sir. Yes, elder. Yes, pastor. Yep, a speakeasy. Yep. Listen.
Let's let's go on and bring this guy on because
he got a lot to say, right?
In the waiting room, there he is.
Pastor, yes, I do. Yeah.
Look. That's where we used to go in Philly after the places are closed. It was a speakeasy. I don't know the origin of the word speakeasy.
Okay. Well, so so I don't know if speakeasy the word itself, but it's derived from the prohibition era. Okay. So remember when they couldn't have alcohol or whatever. So that's kind of like the idea of, and I got it from Philadelphia. That's where I actually, the speakeasy word I know of came from. What do you know about that? Mama, I know a lot about that, Mama. But remember back in Prohibition, they used to go and hide to get their
right.
And so that's kind of what a speakeasy is. When you after the club is closed, you don't have nowhere else to go to get a refreshment, so you go to the speakeasy. Right.
Well, so look at you, Mr. Robinson.
I know. I'm trying to build.
And, Google never fails me. And Pastor, he was right. Absolutely.
What the Google say?
Called the blind pig or blind tiger.
Oh.
That's also
that must be on the other side of the world.
Loretta said it's a vacant house that produces moonshine, is what Loretta said.
Not that I want to encourage that. All I'm saying is in my house, there's a speakeasy in the home. That's all I'm saying.
Look at that. Look at that.
What's going on, Pastor? So good to see you. I missed you.
I miss you all too. I'm doing well. I'm ready for the weekend. I need a nap.
Are you really going to get a nap, though? Are you going to get a nap?
Sunday.
Okay.
Sunday after service.
After I was gonna say when. Pastor, what's going on with the green and the brown in the background? Oh, hey, look at the hey. You don't
You
even
see Taurus?
Yes, Taurus is like
he's just kind of hanging out there, looking around.
Taurus like, yeah.
How's he feeling, Pastor?
He's doing okay. Just kind of taking it one day at a time. Last week in service, he actually had an episode.
We saw,
we talked about that because we thought it was one Braden no Bryce. We couldn't say.
Yep. He had an episode where, it's like, we got to take him out. Yep. So it was really unexpected. We didn't know what was going on, but
we saw him.
Yeah.
So can we go back to the green and the brown? You got a green screen that you didn't tell us about?
I do have a green screen. That's what that is. And when
fancy.
When I get to do other things, it works really well, but it's not big enough for this whole space. so.
But wait a minute. When was you going to tell us you had a green screen?
What was it necessary?
Well, I think as the production team, that you would, hey guys, I got a green screen because that would be awesome.
We could do a whole bunch of stuff with that,
right?
Oh yeah, well, this is just mine. We have another one. We have two of them, so we can do more. He just was working with his earlier, so yeah, we got green screens.
Sean, so we need to get a green screen.
Lights showed up today. We got all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, I got that light showed up today, Sean. I forgot to tell him. He asked about it last week. He tried to call me out last week.
Where was I when he called you out? I wasn't around.
You were like, "Did you get the lights?"
Oh, I called you out.
Yes.
Well,
so we are in my basement office, Sean. That's
I know. I was just trying to say I'm happy that you got a green screen. I feel like we don't have a green screen, and I feel like now since you got a green screen, I need to figure out what are we doing wrong, Johnson? We need to have a green screen.
Listen,
for those that are out there who are constantly online, fatigue and trying to figure out what to do as your background. Get a green screen. You can do so much with that. And so I'm excited that my pastor is very progressive in technology at this moment.
Yeah.
He is learning a lot and we're just happy about it. So
yeah, I'm gonna need you to help me to figure out some stuff. But I do have it.
As you can see, I got just a plain wall. It has no color on it right now, but I'm gonna put some color. Yeah, props to that, bro. Like really, that's dope.
It's pretty fancy too. It's pretty fancy.
Yeah, you have to send us the link to get that. Take it down.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that is fancy.
Yeah, it's fancy.
That is fancy. And so, listen, everybody, we are here today to talk about our Unity Fellowship Church 20th anniversary. Is kind of the end of the celebration for us in terms of, we're going to be celebrating all year, but last week we did a UFCB from the past. And so now this segment is about UFCB to the future. So we wanted our pastor to come on and we love him and we wanted him to talk about his vision as we move forward in the next decade of our ministry.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
Well,
so you got words, Pastor.
So it's interesting because kind of where we are. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Where we are at the moment, there's so much that's up in the air, right? There's so much uncertainty. There's so much that's unpredictable, right? And so, what does that mean for not only UFCB but for ministries across the country?
Yeah.
All kinds of questions and things are up for what does church mean?
Yeah.
Now, right? And so, all of the renovation plans for buildings and building funds and, projects, all the things, everything's up in the air. And again, as you already named, things are changing every day, right? And so, one of the first things is just to continue to be safe and to pay attention to, what ministry is going. So the first thing for me, it is reimagining ministry post COVID-19.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't think that it will ever be the same. Right. what we will go back to won't be the same. Even if we are back in, even if we in a year or 2 years are back in a physical space, it won't be the same. We won't be going back to the way it was. I don't believe that our virtual presence will ever go away. I think this moment has created an opportunity for, again, not only ministries, but businesses and families and things all over to really kind of touch and be in connection. It has created greater opportunities for connection. So the first thing is, to stay present with leadership and community around reimagining ministry. And I think that lots of that will, the churches, the ministries that are going to be successful are going to be those that are flexible and nimble. Right?
That's a good point.
So there's going to need to be the ability to move and shift and change, because I don't know that everybody's going back to brick and mortar, right? In the same way. Definitely not in the same way. There'll probably be a lot more shared spaces, right? So envisioning, this notion of shared spaces with other kinds of ministries or progressive organizations. So in the space where you want that physical gathering, but I really do imagine that things might look a little different. They might just look a little different in that. So for me, connected to that, particularly as I think about the labor and the amazing work that has been done over this last 20 years, again, Senior Bishop Zach is fond of reminding us about our coming together in the time of a pandemic, right? The Unity Fellowship movement being founded in this space of pandemic and crisis, right? And so as we think about this next 20, we get to reimagine again what it means to stay present with the needs of the people, right? And so right now, what's present for me is, what do communities need? What do our people need? What do the folks who join us on Refuel or Bible study or noonday prayer or the services? What do people need from ministry? Again, as you think about churches, what part of what was needed and part of what folks wanted was community. Space to come together. Folks didn't. Even as much as we talk about the this whole notion of salvation, the needing a word from the Lord and all of that stuff, which is still real. People need something to hold on to. The dynamic of needing community is what kept people in churches, right? So the belonging space was so very important for, and that what you found too is that many churches were thriving because of the sense of belonging in the space, right? And so, so again, so what's the purpose of churches today? What's the purpose of ministries today that will inform some of the things that we will want to be looking at in the next round? But for me, some key things are the movement as ministry. Movement as ministry, and being able to really kind of talk about what does it mean to be a movement and ministry, right? That has us not just focused on what happens in the context of the religious space, right? What is the movement of Unity Fellowship, right? The basis, the model of the movement is God is love, and love is for everyone. So how are we spreading that message, not just in the Sunday service, right? But what does God is love and love is for everyone look like in the face of racism, right? What does that look like in the face of sexism and misogyny and transphobia? What does that look like beyond just saying trans people can come here? right? Beyond just saying, all people across races are welcome here and that we're going to address systemic racism. What does it look like in terms of the way that we will show up? So for me, as I think about the next 20 years, I'm thinking about what's the movement part of the ministry that we want to be focused on. Part of that for me means, again, staying connected to our school systems, K through 12, as well as higher education, as well as other post-secondary education spaces. And where are we needed in those spaces? Where is our voice needed in those spaces? What are the community programs we should be in partnership with, right? And how do we, kind of develop those? And, we had an opportunity just a little bit ago to participate on a panel for with I think I can't remember the name of the house that does grief here in Baltimore. It's a grief center, but they were specifically, I think it's Rebecca's house. I think I'm probably missing the name up, but it's a space where it focuses on grief and trauma. And they invited us in to talk about what's that look like in the LGBTQAI communities, in the Black communities. And so it's very powerful partnership that, we hadn't had, right? And so what other programs like that do we bring light to and with?
Yeah.
Hospitals, a real presence for us in hospitals and prisons. So when I think about the movement work for the next round, what's our presence in schools and community programs and hospitals and prisons? Those are the 4 areas that have my attention and want us thinking about that. The other piece, certainly, as you know, is that we've got to be engaging across generations, right? And so I've got present in me seniors and young people. Yeah. And so, so what's the work? What are the ways? What are the young people that we're listening to? I want a youth advisory council, right? So that they can advise us on what we should be doing. That is what they need. What do young people need from a unity, right? What would they say that they need from a unity?
Come on, Pastor.
Right? And kind of looking at and engaging that, building specific ministries that are critical right now for continued expansion of understanding gender, non-binary, trans folks. And for me, what part of this blue and red has communicated to me is we have always said that unity is the church for everybody. Everybody is welcome, and so on and so forth. But we still have lots of our heterosexual siblings that don't have the capacity to engage beyond, well, that's my son and that's my daughter, and I love them. But I think we have the capacity and unity to give them skills and tools to talk with their colleagues, to talk with their friends, to not be ashamed of their own coming out process as the mother of a trans man, of a non-binary, of the mother of a gay person. So that has them, again, understand the journey more than just, well, I just love my child and that's all there is.
Right.
Which is important because sometimes that's not there, right? But to really create the space for that. I really do see Unity Fellowship as continuing to be a teaching ministry. So when I say that it is a place, like there are teaching hospitals, right? And so those hospitals are places where med students get to go and practice, right? They don't have to, with good supervision, right? Mm-hmm. And I see the supervisors right here on this screen, right? But to teach the next generation of progressive ministers, and to let Unity Fellowship be a practice ground. Roberta's house, Ashton, thank you for putting that in there. It's Roberta's house. That's the grief space. So that every time someone stands up at Unity, they don't have to already be Carla Johnson. They don't have to already be Chandra. They don't have to be Bishop Thomas. That they can be learning the craft of leading in a progressive ministry. They don't have to get it right every time. So I want us to continue to be a progressive teaching space. And connected to that is actively preparing the next generation of pastors. Pastors and spiritual leaders, the pipeline for those folks is, I want Unity Fellowship to be seen as a place like that, as it is in many ways already. That lots of leadership of the movement have come through, right? So wanted to continue to be doing that. Reimagining what spreading the gospel can look like. And again, that's what I mean by saying reimagining church without walls. What does spreading the gospel and the good news look like? And does it look like Refuel?
Yeah.
Right. And do we support ministries that want to be a Refuel ministry?
Yeah.
Right. No, we're not ever gonna have a building or walls or churches or chairs or a choir. We will never have a choir, right? What does that mean?
We're gonna talk to you at this.
What does that mean? What does that look like? And so that, because I believe, as I said, that we will never be the same. How do we reimagine a hybrid church? How do we reimagine a space that sometimes we're in physical, sometimes we're not? And how do we continue to take the message of the good news of God is love and love is for everyone throughout the country, throughout the world, right? I have said for a long time, the importance is not to grow the building, but to grow the people. Right. And so we really want to create a space where we are growing the people. So that they can live into their full power and their full divinity of God. Right. The last thing for me is to continue to be a sanctuary, and a place of refuge for those who are hurting, those who are struggling, those who don't love themselves enough yet. So we will love them into loving themselves, is what we're hoping. So that's the vision that I have that can only be accomplished with the people.
Yes.
Right. And so,
Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Honestly, it really made me feel like I'm so proud to be a member of Unity Fellowship Church of Baltimore and Unity Fellowship Church movement. That was a lot of stuff in there that is so powerful, that is very progressive and will challenge what the normal theology is, specifically surrounding, and I'll name this, and Johnson, I'm sure you have many. One of them is about being in the building. You've already, most pastors are so ready to get back in the building. That is the only place where you can't. Somebody just text me and said, pay attention. That's what they just text on my Facebook. Says, pay attention to what you're saying, because you are that is very forward thinking in terms of having so the term is satellite ministries, right? Satellite churches. And what we know to be satellite is far distance. When we think of a satellite, it's transcending information through the waves. Whereas most people think when they know of what it is today, it's about satellite being a building. And what I hear you saying is satellite may also be virtual and continue to be that space. Right. I support that and wholeheartedly. And you are dope.
Yeah. Yeah, Pastor. I know we're running up against your time limit.
Oh, we're okay.
That was amazing. Thank you. That's exactly what we were when we invited to this conversation, right? And I appreciate it. So I was starting to take notes. You know, I want a follow-up communication.
Because we have tons of questions.
Right.
We were told to take notes.
I got this recorded, right? I can listen to it and describe it. But the building, right? Being flexible and nimble and shared spaces, right? And so to Robinson's point, what I appreciate so much about being a part of Unity Fellowship Baltimore is you were not in a rush to get back to the building. Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. And so you did, as a pastor, as a leader, you did not rush to put your folks in any type of harm's way. Right. And I know, you know, I've had the pleasure to be in your presence just a handful of times since we've been in this pandemic, and not, you know, run up to you and just grab you in my arms. Right. And I know, you know, what that means to people. You talked about needing community, right? And so for a lot of people, the reason that they found Old York Road was because
that's right.
They needed to be around, because whatever in their life had them, you know, didn't allow them to be around like-minded people. So it was just powerful. Like, I am, you know, I always look for signs and wonders about where I'm doing and what I'm doing. And so this was just, you know, refreshing. And, you know, some of the chats, you know, yes, Jamie, he cared about our safety.
Absolutely.
You know, Joy texted me, Jesus didn't have walls, right?
That's right.
And so if
there's a lot of comments that are coming through on my page as well. So listen, like, that was awesome. That was really great. And I'm glad that you got a chance to share that with the people.
Yeah, bringing back to the work and not to the floss is a text message that I just got from one people who are watching. And so so you talked a lot about partnering, right, and linking up with people who are already doing it. So Pastor BJ, in our segment after convocation, when we had the pastors come on, so he talked about having a space where he welcomed in other faith paths or so what's your feedback, or what's your thought about you know, incorporating or inviting other faith paths to a Unity Baltimore experience?
Well, so, you know, we talk about, and again, it's not unlike other dynamics. So we talk about, and it's historically talked about, welcoming all beliefs, right? And we've had all beliefs be invited in, right? And we don't turn anybody away because you say you Buddhist or you Muslim or you're Yoruba, or any other kind of meaning making or faith tradition that you have. And what I heard Pastor BJ naming is more than just the invitation to come.
Yes.
But also the invitation to join us in the expression and understanding of the divine and the many ways in which that can be. Yeah. And there's a tension in that for those of us, particularly in Christendom. Right. And so while it is important for us at one level to, as our What We Believe statement says, is we hold sacred the teachings of Jesus the Christ, but don't hold it as secondary or but do not denounce other faith traditions and beliefs. And so what's the balance in our being able to celebrate and hold what Jesus brought us and taught us, and also hold what we can get and what we can learn and what we can share from other spiritual knowings and faith traditions and teachings, right? And so, and what communities want that kind of engagement? Right, because the reality is everybody don't want that.
Yes,
everybody don't want that. You know, some folks really clear that if you don't say Jesus, if you don't seal the prayer in Jesus' name, even in this progressive space, it's not a space that feels comfortable to them. It doesn't fit their spiritual journey and path, right? And so again, the tension that we live in progressiveness is, really living true to our value and holding the tension that it might not be the space that everybody's going to want to be in. And so what I say about these progressive spaces, you're not ever going to see a mega progressive church.
Say more about that, Pastor. Why?
We're not going.
That's too much push.
Because we're talking about counterculture. You are not. We're not going to be.
Talk more about that.
We're not going to be in Joel Osteen's space. And preach this message.
No, you're right.
It's not going to happen.
Influence into what we are.
Let me say this: it ain't going to happen in my lifetime.
That's fair.
Right.
I dig, and you're right.
We're talking about shifting culture. In a huge way that really brings all of the divine ways of knowing about God together. And that's a lot of stuff, right? Because what we are saying is we don't need that space. There's something, when you look at those spaces, there's something about the attachment of God to those spaces. This message is saying that you don't really need that to access the divine. And at the same time, people are trying to have that when you're saying you don't need that to get to God, right? And so then when your message is successful,
I need y'all to catch this. This man is talking stuff right here. Listen.
When what you preaching and you teaching is successful, why you think people gonna be in a space like that? They're not gonna be. They have found the divine in themselves. And they found the divine in community and other spaces. And so so that's the other part of the reason that this message becomes hard for folks, because it costs you something.
It costs you something. Come on, Pastor.
It costs you something.
So Pastor, listen, when you talked about, paying attention to the generation, seniors, and I want to read this real quick. Let me pull back. I think virtual care team with frequent follow-up is an area that these cyber ministries can grow in. Being cyber leaves room for hidden pain, as in places that we cannot reach.
Sure.
And I have been witness that this week, and I've shared this a couple of times to many people about the message of God. God is love, and love is for everyone. And this is just my personal opinion. I'll share this. I was like, we've heard that over and over and over. But I'm here to tell you that there are people that still need to hear that. And you just said that we need to still be clear about having this other component that still reaches other people through the waves is so true.
That's right.
So that I just wanted to name that, and Ken just put that. Reverend Ken Tenor just put that, and it's so powerful. But you, in terms of countering against what we've been taught,
that's right,
of being in the building and what we know to get, you're saying that if COVID has allowed us to not to experience not being in this building, it's some field or Johnson, stop it. I'm just saying, because people know that if I could just get to church,
that's it.
Church.
If I could just get to church, church being a building, right?
That's right.
I'm gonna stop.
Listen, I can go like again. Pastor. You know, I'm always trying to be honoring your time. So
right. Want to be honoring?
We don't have this conversation.
Right. We got you right now, and you don't. Right. And I want to talk about this some more.
It goes back to that notion of trying to get to the hem, right? The hem of his garment.
Yeah,
right?
That's right.
Whose garment?
That's right. Exactly.
Right?
That's right.
That is the notion that, and this is one of the many reasons I'm so grateful to be under your leadership and have had your guidance for so many years, is because like you saying that again, Sean saying, you know, so many people. Because we've had the conversation, like, why don't they get God loves you and so do I, right? God, you know, God is loving,
right, Johnson? Like,
right. And so, but it's one of those things where it's conversations like this. It's in Unity Baltimore, like lean in, like this is the words from your pastor. This is the next 20 years for this organization, and right to be able to know that God is love, and love is within you, and love is for everyone.
That's right.
Have you know that it is okay not to be in that brick and mortar, and it still be as powerful, and it still
That's right.
Whatever highest.
And it takes nothing away from the love and the desire to be with community. Right. We all still want that, and still miss that connection in physical and the physical presence and touch of the divine within you.
Right.
But I'm not lost because I can't get there.
Well, you know, there's a scripture that says when 2 or 3 get together.
That's right.
Right. And people have that to be.
Yeah. Like, Pastor, good stuff, man. Like, again, I'm going to try to give you your out. Because again,
we gotta let him go. We love you, man.
Look, I love you so. You know, and we talk about the presence of the Lord is here. The presence of the Lord is here. Right.
You're right.
And you know, there's a shouting and a running and a divine excitement in the energy of this virtual space in moment. You know, if folks feel God present in this moment, you know, then, you know, kind of check it. Where you locating?
One more thing, Pastor, because Sister Marlene put this in, and if you have a couple of minutes, or we can bring you in for a follow-up, but you said no choir, right? So if you have just, you know, 60 seconds to tell us what you meant by that.
I'm saying you might not have an actual choir.
Okay.
That's what I meant. I'm not saying the choir need to go. You all know me. Not the choir. Look, the choir. Look,
but a good intersection.
Choir. That's right. Please. I'm not saying that the choir is going to go away. Please don't take away the choir. But you can have church. You can have the move of God without the choir, right? And so that's why a lot of folks don't go to some of the progressive spaces and so on, because the choir is not good enough. So they've attached God to the choir, right?
Emotion.
And so yes, the music is just a powerful example of an expression of the divine. Yes. And I don't, you know, I love. I absolutely love that. And that I don't want folks to feel like, well, you know, what we're gonna do if we don't have no choir? How we gonna have service?
Right. Okay.
You know, what we see right now is, well, we actually don't have a choir. We've got music in different ways that get expressed, but no, not in that way.
Right. Perfect. Thank you, Pastor, so very much for joining us tonight.
I just say one thing. I want to say one thing before you let you just set a whole nother bar. Just trying to tell you. I want you to know. Listen, Pastor. Listen. We wrote it down. So we having a meeting with you.
All right. We got plans.
I love you.
I love you. We love you so much. You all have keep it up. This is the ministry. This is the work. God bless you.
Thank you. God bless you. Love you, man. Woo. I tell you, I could sit. Back in the day when I met Archbishop, sometimes I just wanted to just sit and just listen to him. Like I just had that moment. I really just had that moment when I wanted to just sit and listen to my pastor. And I know for a fact that I don't need to be in the building to do that. Like I can do that, right? Like because I feel like inspired and ready to run and do the work that I know we've been called to do. I'm just trying to tell you. So good, Pastor. We love you, man.
Man. Like, listen, again, I always look for to checks and balance, right? I'm in the right place. It is the right time. There, I'm not getting. This is divinely ordered and purposeful, right? And so tonight did that for me, right? I go back to Darrell's message, where's your fire, right? I felt like the fire was sparked. I can't wait until...
Did it turn up in you?
It did. It did.
You got a lot of fire, Johnson.
It's one of those things where, I'm like, what do I need to do? Like,
did you just cuss?
Huh?
I think you just cussed. Did you just cuss?
No, I said I'm fired up. What do I need to do?
I'm sorry. I thought you said
my bad. But it's one of those things.
I love it. You did.
that administrative brain starts to kick in, and I'm like, this. We need to get this out to the membership. We need to, what partnerships is he talking about, and how are we aligning? And so I am. Listen, everybody, you heard it here, Unity Fellowship Church of Baltimore.
Right here on Refuel.
Right here on Refuel. Our pastor laid out our vision. And so now it is the time, Unity Baltimore, for us to again lean in. And we'll have membership meetings here. He has the schedule. We'll start to publish some of that now that we've gotten his vision out there, and we'll go back to begin to put his vision in work at work.
Bishop, we saw your message in terms of it was rich. Absolutely, it was very rich. And Jermaine, we make that plain connecting God to the choir. Absolutely, I think he made it very, very clear about what that how people are attached to go to church because of the choir, because the choir moves the emotion, right? And some people leave right after the choir sings. So I love how he made that clear. Ken, and that and may be a good thing. Maybe lyrics have us in them and messed up. Oh, absolutely. So about reframing lyrics. In fact, so someone sent me a YouTube video this morning, and as I was singing the song, I was changing the lyrics because I'm just so used to that. I'm conditioned now to change lyrics. So he already taught us that. Again.
That's right. That's one of the my biggest frustrations is, how are we in progressive church still only calling God He? How are we still saying we are, yes, amazing grace, how sweet this sound, but it didn't save a wretch like me, right?
Like who? Like what? Like are we
right?
So here's good point, Johnson. Oh, good point. Yeah. Influencing the bad so that you can stay in this place to get free from what they are teaching you and staying to do. I'm just trying to say that, like, think about it. A wretch. Why would I call my... We're not here to preach,
right? But that's the thing, right? So paying attention. So progressive church, not progressive churches, folks who still go into these churches and you sing these songs, right? Communion is a big time where we find ourselves, in these spaces of needing to be less than so Jesus can be bigger, right? At the end of the day,
did you just say? Wait, let me make sure. Wait, did I? Like, this is progression.
And I've been
5 years ago, she would have never said that. I'm here to tell y'all that this woman has changed tremendously. Because you would have said that 5 years ago.
No, I wouldn't have. And I would have told you that you were wrong, and I would have proved it to you how you were wrong.
And you would have went in your closet and prayed for me.
Right. And then I went in my closet and prayed for you. But it's being a part of a ministry that gives me room and breath and a leader who holds me accountable, right, to being bigger. Like I said, God called me. I said God brought me to this ministry, and so I have to. I can't be the same and and truly, in my opinion, these are my words, I don't feel that I can be the same and be effective. So I can't believe that there's only one way and reach the people in which God has placed me. And I believe that God has placed me to reach you. I can't believe that, I am a sinner only saved by grace, and that there's, there is a hell. I can't hold those things and be in this space and be authentic and congruent with trying to follow the vision of that God has put in this pastor. I can't be the same. Yes, Bishop. Yes, you remember. I am
so full and emotional right now,
yeah.
because the words that you just said, as in Jesus is not the only way, like that is the first time in my experience with you have ever named that. And I remember a time when you thought that there was this place that I was going to go for saying that Jesus wasn't the only way. And so our ministry is important.
Yeah.
Right?
It is.
And
it's vital.
Like it is just for a long time. I remember me thinking that I was all by myself in that way of thinking, right? And to hear you say that you've reached that level of understanding is just amazing. It's powerful. And I think that that's that's the ownership of true power, to get to the level of enlightenment and understanding of what you get to create.
That's right.
And what God have given you. So we're going to delete this. but you write, Elder Janice Jackson, we get to write our own songs, and we get to look at how we understand what God is, and we get to look at the evolution. We get to look at that God didn't just stop speaking to those in the past, right? We get to own who we are and not allow what people say about us to be what it is.
That's right.
And so to hear you say that is just moving me. So
and it's the truth, right? It is the truth.
I'm done.
Right. And so I want, I will be honest. Many people know my story, and that I did not want to see 40, right? And I was very willing to take matters into my own hands. And a couple of years ago, when I knew that, several years ago, when I knew that that wasn't how my story would end, I had to realize that God was bigger, because if it didn't, I would not physically be sitting in front of you today. And so I implore anybody who is in a place where you feel like, because you live a certain way, do a certain thing, that God can't love you, that you reach out to me, and that, and I'm a living witness that God can do, and will do, and is doing, because you are still on the planet. And so, yeah, man.
I want y'all to know, we heard it first here on Refuel that Johnson just made it clear that Jesus is not the only way. I will forever I would record this and play it back in her ear if she ever denied it.
No, I have not. There are multiple facets. There are multiple.
Like Joy said, Anne has a wife who has many things around. Like, you just don't know.
That's a whole another story within itself, right? And so, I wouldn't be married today if I still stayed in that notion that there was only one way to access God, and that was through Jesus and through Jesus's blood. My wife, Joy, and I would not be married. We would not be raising these kids together, because I would have had her wrong and on a way to hell and justified in it. And so,
Joy, you can send me my check right now.
So we are thankful, everybody, for watching tonight. Shutting around the
Listen, Bishop, listen, and I don't usually get emotional. I don't cry. Like, it's not often you'll see me shed a tear anywhere. But between between Elder and her, like, I am done. Like, listen, I appreciate you sharing that, Johnson. I needed to hear that. I didn't know I needed to, but it now just kind of fueled me, and it affirmed. That's what it did, And so much love to your growth. I appreciate you, and I appreciate you sharing to the people. Yes, you are. Yes, you are, bro.
No, he doesn't want to do so. We don't want to do outro because we don't want it.
We don't want it to shake up. Okay,
right, we are.
Let's talk about what we're going to do next week. Powerful segment, powerful. Next week is Transgender Day of Remembrance. It's actually on the 20th of November. And so we will have an amazing list of guests who will come in and talk about what that means and the experience and to affirm and support that. So we ask that you come on and just join us in that as we celebrate and honor those that we've lost and those that are still walking and making things happen in our community.
Yeah, and join us this Sunday for Unity Baltimore service. We'll be right here streaming from all of these platforms. Wherever you're watching us right now, you can meet us here. Got it, Ashton. You can meet us here on Sunday at 10:30. And tomorrow we'll be having coffee with the pastor. So for you all that have just seen him, maybe it was your first time. Well, come and join us tomorrow to have coffee together. Our pastor, he's the same guy that you see here, the same guy you see on Sunday morning. So join us tomorrow.
He's funnier with the coffee.
He's funnier with the coffee. But again, thank you so very much. We love you, Sister Marlene.
Yes. Thank you for joining us today. All those out there that have joined us, we love you.
Yeah, we were supposed to have some other guests on tonight, but the conversation took a different turn. So we will definitely make sure that you are present with us. We'll create another space to have you all join us. Thank you.
With that in mind.
With that in mind, Ashton, can we get the links to subscribe? Do we have that? So we want to let you know that you can subscribe to our Unity Baltimore page, Unity Baltimore Official, and then there we go, right there.
So the other thing is that we're part of a bigger movement. It's just not Baltimore. We're part of a movement, Unity Postal Church movement. I want to make sure we name that. We're also a part of, our family that is extended out to all areas across the United States. So, if we need to pop up in some of these areas, we will. I promise you, Alabama, I promise you, like, we're linking into you. I want to get linked in because, again, there are a lot of young people who are still feeling that they're not enough. And that means to me, and I'll share this with our movement, our elders, our leadership that is on this call, that people are still suffering and believing that they are not enough. And even in 2020.
Yeah. So we're here to affirm you wherever you're watching us. You are enough. God does love you. Despite whatever you may be facing, know that you have a friend in us. You have a confidant in us. Just please reach out. Don't wander alone because it's unnecessary. There are people that care and love for you right where you are. Even in that most desolate and broken space, you are not alone. So we got you. Thank you so much, loved ones, for joining us. Meet us right back here next Friday night, 6 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern. I don't know what time it is right now.
Catch the kiss. We love you.